with Roughani, whose website, publicinnovation.org, is a new idea that could actually revolutionize government, right?
Let's hope so.
So tell me about the website, what your goals are, and what the theme is behind it.
Sure. So public innovation started with this idea of the fact that Sacramento is home to one of the 8th largest economy in the world, and we have a lot of government here. We're the state capital. And
isn't like a third of this city is a third of the workforce is government?
Exactly. Exactly. And so we're trying to look at using that as an asset to our region and basically creating more innovation in government. We basically want citizens more involved, and we think that there's a different way of thinking about the relationship between citizens and their government. Think about government more as a platform where citizens can build tools, have a more responsive government.
As far as responsive government, what's wrong with government the way it is right now?
So I don't want to sit here and trash government. I actually think it's something valuable and unique in the sense that we all own a piece of it. It's not like a private company that sells us goods and services and we can voluntarily engage in transactions with those companies. Government is instead something that we all pay taxes for. It's what protects us from crime, what saves us from fires, what educates our children, and generally it's the thing that we do together. And so at the same time, a lot of people complain about government and how it's wasteful, and a lot of people just aren't happy with it. And so what we're trying to do is look at sort of the scope of tools that we have at our disposal as a result of technology, and looking at ways that we can improve government ourselves, both in partnership with government and just on our own.
What would be an example?
The most easy example would be an app. So any kind of app that gives you information you need when you need it. Another example would be business permitting. A lot of people who want to open a business, they're not necessarily concerned with which particular public agency they have to deal with, whether it's the city, the county, or the state. They just want to be able to get the permits that they need without having to navigate a really bureaucratic process. And so one of the things that we're looking at is designing a website that can integrate all of the necessary information that a potential business owner needs in order to open their business, and then get that information to the public agencies that need that information.
Now in a couple weeks you have a special video presentation, right? Tell me about that.
Yeah, so this is going to be our 3rd Civic Meet. Civic Meet in Sacramento is part of our idea generation process. When we think about innovation in government, we see it coming in 3 phases. The first is coming up with ideas, the second is building and testing those ideas, and the third is actually deploying those ideas. So Civic Meet Sacramento is really the first of those 3 phases, where we get people together from different backgrounds, from business, from higher education, government, technology. They come together, share their experiences, and they tackle problems, and they try to come up with solutions. And so we're using this approach called design thinking, which is a more creative way of solving problems. And this documentary that we're going to show for our 3rd Civic Meet is on this concept of design thinking. It heavily incorporates empathy, looking at systems as a whole and how problems and solutions fit within the wider scope of these larger systems. That allows you to reframe and look at problems in a new way. And if you're looking at problems in a new and different way, you're able to come up with better solutions. And it also heavily incorporates rapid prototyping, which means you're not spending a lot of time to put out one single solution. You're putting out lots of solutions and testing them and iterating and making them better and figuring out what works, what doesn't, and that way you much more quickly get to the real solutions that you need, rather than spending a lot of time on something that ultimately may not work.
So design thinking applies to business as well as government.
Absolutely. It actually came out of the product design field, most notably through a consulting company known as IDEO. They helped invent the Apple Mouse, a bunch of other products. But yes, they help companies innovate through this approach, and we really just want to take that same approach and apply it to government and think about the way that citizens experience government, looking at it through sort of, in web design you have this concept called user experience design, and that really tracks the flow of how a user goes through a website, the number of clicks that they have to make to find the information that they need. We want to adapt that concept through something new called citizen experience design. So what is the citizen's experience? Can they find the information that they need? Is government more of a tool to help people solve problems, or is it something that's causing more problems and getting in the way? We would rather it be the former than the latter.